Do you think he knew the scope of what he was getting himself into? That he knew the magnitude, the size of the job?
I don't think so.
He's coming from a position where he's recently won the title twice in recent years, and he was unbeaten this season.
I don't think so. We talk about that in Portugal, and I think he didn't knew what he's
getting himself
through.
into.
Yeah. And it's so tough to be a manager in United at the moment. It's so difficult, and I just saw the interview, and I'm thinking that he's just willing to finish the season and to start the new season with another players, that the players that he wants to put in, and well, it's. I just want him to be success, because he's looked like a great manager, but at the situation now, like he says, just need to win, and he's not winning.
By the way, sorry,
I think he probably expected. I would say he knew the task at hand, but I think he probably expected players. You know, we look at the team sheet there, to adapt to a system better than what they have. You know, at times in the first half there, we were seeing, you know, he's on the sideline and he's instructing them to do everything, and it's like, it shouldn't be like that. As a manager, players should know, you know, you've trained on it all week, you should know the system, you should know where to be, and it's as if like players on the pitch weren't responding to tell his instructions of where it's as if they didn't know where to be on the pitch. You could see him, there's one time I think it was 40 minutes into the game, and Diego Dalot's over speaking to him, and the two of them are you know, and that's okay. You know, of course managers can give instructions from the side of the pitch, but to me it looked like they just didn't know how to play in that system, and I think that will be his biggest shock, is that these players aren't able to adapt to it, and they should be. You know, you look at some of the names: Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, you know, Garnacho, Srčki. In the first half, the midfield the spaces were too big. And I was thinking to myself at half time that, you know, I said to you, Adam, off air, that, you know, Srčki and Garnacho needed to play closer till Fernandes and Casemiro, because they were getting pulled all over the place. And when you do that, then you depend on your wing backs in that system to get you up the pitch. And you know, they did do that in the second half. They got tighter. They got pressure higher up the pitch. But as he said, Tottenham scored and they didn't.
Can I ask, right? When Ruben Amorim first came to Manchester United, when he first came to England, there's a statistic doing the rounds. I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head, but I believe it was that in the Premier League era, the only team that has consistently played three at the back and won the Premier League title was Chelsea. That's it. Of course, there have been moments in time where City have gone with three at the back, etc. But in terms of that being their go-to formation, only Chelsea have done it. What makes Ruben Amorim so different that he should be able to take a three at the back and win the Premier League? I'm coming to you first, Sandro, because for those who are unaware, Sandro actually lives in Portugal. So you're very well versed with Portuguese football. What makes his three at the back so impressive compared to anyone else that has tried to win the Premier League with it?
That is his system. That is his way.
But is it suitable for the English game, playing three at the back? Does it work in England to the point where you can win the title?
But why the directors choose him to come? You know,
why did they choose Ten Hag to come?
Exactly. And I think they are doing something wrong at the top of
the higher level,
the high level of the club, because this is his way. He's wanted playing like that. So why he going to change? Because he's normally never going to change, because he doesn't know how to play in another system, maybe. And like
doesn't that speak about him as a manager if he doesn't know how to play any other system? That he's so inflexible?
Some coaches are like that. If you look, Ange won't change as well. He said that.
Or a Bielsa.
Or a Bielsa. You can say better. And I don't want to say things, but United needs to think, because if you bring a manager to your team and you going to ask him to change his his philosophy. Why? It's crazy.
What's your take on playing three at the back in the top flight in England? Is it a system that suits the Premier League to the point where you can actually be challenging and win the title?
Well, it's not too often it's happened, so that tells you all you need to know, really. But
yeah,
he's obviously had success, as Sandro says. He's had success in Portugal, so why would he go against what he believes in? Because that's just the number one rule as a manager, is you believe in your philosophy and you try and get it across. And they're playing three at the back, and for me it's a bit like nothing too much should change as a back three, a back five, a back four. Defensive principles are still the same. Do you know what I mean? It's the principles of defending is still the same. It's just how you get pressure higher up the pitch. You need running power on the side of the pitch because your fullbacks become really important then to get you up, because you're playing inside attackers, inside tens, or whatever you want to call them. It's so many different names for them now. But you also need midfielders that is able to go box to box. But United, they can take more chances as well, because when you play three at the back, you can afford to push players on, because you still have that protection of the back three, and most of the time a midfielder, so you still have at least four behind the ball, so you can take more chances. It is going to take time, whether they have the right players now.
Yeah, he needs the players. He needs the players. He needs to have one season for him to buy the players that suit his style of playing. And what I can say that it's United needed to give him the players that he wants, and after, of course, try to judge him, try to see if he's doing.
Do you think it was the right time for him to try and implement this so religiously right now when he doesn't have his players?
He doesn't want to sign with United now. He doesn't want it.
He wanted to stay on.
He said, "I
Portugal.
wanted to stay, and I come next season," and they said no. And he said, "Oh, maybe it's time for me to go," but he didn't want to come.
I'm just wondering whether maybe he should try to have a staggered implementation of the three at the back, given that he doesn't really have the players to do it.
But we've seen them play a back four of two centre backs, obviously, and we haven't seen one pairing yet that works either. I have a lot of respect and admiration for Harry Maguire. I think he's actually been their better defender, and he's got unfair criticism in the past. Yeah, I think he's been made a scapegoat at times when, he's been an easy target, shall I say? Yeah. I know my friend Johnny Evans is in there as well. I think back to last season as well, even when Ten Hag was in, Johnny Evans was probably their better defender then, and they just haven't got that partnership to be a strong back two, back four. So I don't know whether they need a goal scorer as well. They're struggling to score goals, which is a crazy thing to say because of the money they've spent on Højlund and Xerxes. But they're struggling massively in that area as well. And again, if you don't score, you don't win games. But you have also got to keep clean sheets, and at the minute they're not doing that either.
My producer is screaming in my ear right now. Will Amorim have the time to bring in his own players, though?
Yeah, I think he will. I'm saying that the whole time, because
you're very positive about Ruben Amorim.
Yes.
Very positive that he will be given the time.
Yeah, they're not going to sack him now. Surely they can't.
They can't.
They can't because the Premier League's gone for them now. They're not going to get top four. They're not going to get Europe. The only way they're going to get Europe is by winning the Europa League. So why change him now? Let him.
Not to say it necessarily now, but we believe that financially they're a little bit constrained in the summer because of PSR rules and all of that. So you're probably talking, what, 3-4 windows till he can bring in a team.
Yeah, but then he'll have time as well within, you'll have the rest of the season when there's not as many games. You'll have pre-season to continue to work on the system and the players to understand the system. And that's when, because up until now they've had Thursday, Sunday, Monday, whatever it is, because of Europe, and that's what happens at big clubs. You're in European competitions, and I'm sure they're not complaining. But he will then have time as the season goes on to implement the style even more, so these players understand the system that he wants to play. And pre-season will be huge for him. It'll be absolutely massive because that is when you work on everything.